You should always be kind and good to your guest. Offer them food and drink, compliment them, just basic common courtesy stuff. Conversely, you should always be considerate when you're the guest. Don't demand too much, and even though this should go without saying, never ever steal from your host. This is the law of Xenia, aka the law of hospitality. Be kind to your host and be kind to your guest, because it's the right thing to do, and usually being nice will encourage niceness to come back to you. This law is present in a lot of Greek stories, usually as a cautionary tale against breaking the law, because when broken, there will absolutely be consequences. Today's video is about a man who broke the law of Xenia, not just once, but twice, and on both ends of the spectrum. Today's video is about Tantalus and how he broke Xenia. To set the stage, Tantalus is the son of Zeus and a woman named Pluto. No, not the Roman equivalent to Hades, although apparently this Pluto might also be the daughter of Kronos and Rhea, so maybe this is gender-bent Hades? Don't take my word on that. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but he is for sure, in most cases, the son of Zeus. So we're just going to ignore the mom business for now. He is also the king of Sipylus, a region of Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. Tantalus was beloved by the gods, so much so he was invited up to Mount Olympus for dinner one night. A feat rarely achieved by mortals, even demigods, and usually they would gain godhood in that case. While on Mount Olympus, Tantalus steals some ambrosia from the gods. If you read the Percy Jackson books, you think you know what ambrosia is, but it's actually a little bit more than that. In the books, it was treated as some magical food that could heal wounds. That stuff in the books must be a diluted version of what's in the actual mythology. Ambrosia in the mythology is a special food of the gods that has the ability to make beings immortal. So you can imagine how upset the gods were when Tantalus stole this stuff, because not only was he trying to make himself immortal, on top of that he was also breaking the law of Xenia, something Zeus was especially enraged by. This subject deserves a video all on its own, so I'll just summarize for now. But the gods had many domains and many titles. Using Zeus as an example, the sky was his main gig. He was also the king of the gods, god of justice, and, more relevant to this episode, the god of hospitality. So to give you an idea of just how badly Tantalus has screwed up, he just broke the law of hospitality by stealing from Zeus, the god of hospitality. Can you guess what's gonna happen? Well, in one version, this act alone is enough to get Tantalus thrown into Tartarus. But I prefer the other version, where he's just banished from Mount Olympus, because that allows both versions of this story to exist sequentially. In the next version of the story, Tantalus wants to apologize for what happened on Mount Olympus, so he invites the Olympians to his home for dinner. They agree and go down to Sipylus. They all sit around the table, and Tantalus brings out a special meal he prepared just for them. But something's off about the meal. None of the gods are sure at first, but eventually someone realizes what's in front of them is a cooked human corpse. And they realize Tantalus killed his own son and cooked him for the gods to eat. So from a certain angle, Tantalus sacrificed his son to the gods. And human sacrifice is a big no-no in ancient Greece. There is evidence some cults had occasional human sacrifice, but by and large it was cultural taboo across most, if not all, of Greece. I had a professor once try to argue that Tantalus might not be crazy or dastardly for this, because from Tantalus' point of view, he may have meant it as a sincere gesture, as he is sacrificing his most valuable possession to the gods. But I don't think that interpretation works here, because of the whole human sacrifice taboo thing. Seriously, if you look in other myths where human sacrifice is mentioned, it's painted in a very bad light, and something the gods do not enjoy. Except maybe Ares. So let's go over a list of Tantalus' crimes. He stole from the gods, he murdered his son in an attempted human sacrifice, and he tried getting the gods to commit cannibalism, which was also taboo in ancient Greece. Although, is it really cannibalism if the gods are eating humans? Cause they're different species, but just don't think too much about that. With these three major crimes now on his list, Tantalus has earned himself a one-way ticket to the bottom of Tartarus, and since all his crimes have involved food, it's only fitting his punishment does too. Tantalus is cursed to remain in Tartarus for all eternity, in a pool of water with a tree above him. The tree will bear ripe fruit, but pull away if he tries to eat some. Conversely, if he reaches down to try and get a sip from the pool of water, it'll drain so he cannot drink. He is doomed to be eternally thirsty and hungry for the rest of time. The gods resurrected Tantalus' son, but unfortunately Demeter absent-mindedly ate a piece of his body without thinking because she was missing Persephone, so Hephaestus fashioned him a new shoulder to replace his missing one. The gods also cursed Tantalus' family line, which honestly doesn't really seem fair to the son they just resurrected, but I guess too bad. Anyway, that's the story of Tantalus, which, if you made the connection, is where we got the word tantalizing from. There are other stories like this where people break the law of Xenia and they have to pay the price, the most famous being the Trojan War, but that's a series in its own right and I will tackle that in the far off future. Until then, thank you for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you want to see more. I have a Discord where I post memes and you can get hints to future videos there too. And until next time, have a good one.